Hi everyone! Welcome to our Monday Interactive Read Aloud. So remember, every Monday we start a new text together and we really break it down the rest of the week in our Reader's Workshop lessons. And today's Interactive Read Aloud is going to be on this book called The Sun. And last week we did one on the moon, and today we're going to be, or this whole week, we're going to be exploring the sun. And so before we start our text today, I want to remind you two things. One, we're going to be reading a nonfiction text again, and nonfiction basically means it's giving information about something. So hopefully after you finish the book, you will learn something about the sun. And second thing, our objective today is in any interactive read aloud, we're using all our different reading skills at the same time, because we don't just use one reading skill when we read a book, we use many different reading skills, because reading is kind of like a basketball game. You're always doing all the different things you've been learning, all the different skills, all together in one to access the text. So today we're going to be using lots of different reading skills. And that's what I love about interactive read alouds, because we get to use so many different skills. And so today, before we start, I want to ask you to draw a picture, and you can think about it if you need to, about what you think the sun looks like. So take some time and draw a picture of what you imagine in your mind, what the sun looks like in space. You can think about the color, you can think about the size, the shape. And if you need time, you can always pause the video. And when the teachers are ready, they're going to give me a thumbs up and they're going to show me their drawings.
Sorry.
Take your time. And I thought that someone's thumb was up because when I was looking at the Aloud, it looks like that little kid's pointing up, and I thought that was someone's finger. And I love that our teachers are taking their time, because when we draw as illustrators, we also want to draw accurately. And so it's important to spend some time to draw as many details as you can, so that way you can really represent what you think the sun looks like, or any drawing that you're drawing. Yay, Miss Yakimowicz, would you like to share your picture first?
Yes. Well, it looks like it's just a circle, but the sun actually has, I think it has lots of colors. It has three warm colors, like red and yellow and a bit of orange. And so I tried to put that up there.
I love that. And I love that you added a label to your picture, because in a lot of nonfiction texts, we see a lot of labels for pictures. That way our readers know what the drawing is about. Or else I would have thought it could have been a pizza without toppings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Rosales, are you ready?
I think I'm ready as I could be for now. And that's okay, kids.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Can you show us your explain your picture for us?
Sure. So I definitely thought that the sun was circular.
Mm-hmm.
But I also remember that there are different levels of heat from the sun. So I added some yellow, some orange, and some red spots to show the intensity. I also added some parts of the sun. I imagine it's more like volcanic lava. That's how intensely hot it is. And it's just erupting into flares. And it looks like drops coming, and I wouldn't want to be near that. But it's radiating outward.
Yeah.
It doesn't go inward, it goes outward.
And I love the detail you spent on your picture, because it also tells me your prior knowledge of what the sun is. You know that the sun is hot. And so you were able to show that in your drawing. Awesome. So I'm excited to see if these pictures that we came up with about the sun are actually true. So let's go ahead and do the read aloud to see what we know. And boys and girls, I'm actually going to skip the table of contents in this text because this table of contents wasn't really helpful for me as a reader. And so I'm not going to look at it today, but in other nonfiction texts, you might want to look at the table of contents to organize your facts and your ideas. Big and hot. The sun is hot. It keeps us warm. It gives us light. It helps plants grow. What is the sun? It is a star. It is made of gas. Wow, I'm looking at that photograph of the sun and it does look really intense. I see Miss Yakimowich's red, orange, yellow colors in this photo, and I see Miss Rosales' flaring and the lava looking kind of movement in the sun. And I wanted you guys to take some time to stop and think. When it says it's made out of gas, what do you think that means? Does that mean if I had a gas of, I don't know, if this is the sun, would I be able to go through it? Would it be hard? Can I go through it? Is it soft? What do you think gas tells us about what the sun would look like if you were trying to touch it? Let's take some time to think. What do you think it would feel like to touch the sun if we know it's made out of gas? Miss Rosales?
Well, immediately I thought about gasoline. And I know gas in itself is something that we can go through it, but gasoline, when it's lit up, it flares up. It ignites. And so I imagine that this gas is also lighting up and it has movement, just like air has movement that we don't see.
Mr. Kimich, do you want to add on?
I also thought of gasoline, but I know like gasoline, when you put in your car, it's liquid. But I also know that gas, like in the stove, it has gas. If you turn it on, gas comes out to make the heat. And that's kind of, you can't see it, but you can smell it. Because sometimes I accidentally put the stove on and I just smell gas, but there's no heat coming out. But you can go through it and you can touch it.
I agree. I really do think that we know it's definitely not a solid. So we know that the three states of matter are solid, liquid, and gas. And the one that solid is obviously you can touch it, but you can't go through it. Liquid is kind of like water, and gas is something that you can kind of go through. So let's keep reading to see what else we learn about the sun. The sun is big. 1 million Earths could fit inside it. And when I read this part of the text, it blew my mind because I actually want us to go back and revise our drawing now. Like, I think some of you guys thought the sun was maybe, when I draw my picture of I'm going to the beach, I always make the sun this small, right? But let's think. Now that you know 1 million Earths could fit inside of it, what do you think your sun could look like? So maybe you can take some time right now to revise your drawing. Maybe you can draw the Earth and the sun and show us what that could look like.
I don't think it will work.
I believe in you.
Right? I'll figure it out. Did it.
Awesome. Ms. Rosales, would you like to share with us first?
Sure. So there, right there, is our blue Earth.
I love it. It's so tiny compared to the sun, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ms. Akimo?
So there's my sun, and then there is my little Earth.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that you added some green in there.
Yeah, I love it.
The land.
And how many of you guys at home and teachers were kind of like shocked at how small the earth really is in comparison to the sun, right?
Yeah,
I was.
that green dot is bigger than the earth.
If you look at the photograph on our text, it also tells you this is how small earth is and this is how big the sun is. Wow, that's amazing. No wonder we can feel the heat on earth because the sun is just so big. Let's keep going. Oh, yes, Ms. Rosales.
It also made me wonder why in our planet it looks so small.
And I love that you're wondering, because naturally as readers, when we read nonfiction or even stories, there might be questions that we have. And I want us to be good readers to jot down those questions, because you can actually research this after you're done reading the text. Earth orbits the sun. Other planets do too. And we talked about last week that orbit means going around, right? And remember the teachers went around something. I walked around my chair to show you what orbit and around looks like. And so that's what the earth is doing with the sun. The sun is hot. It is hotter at the core. And when I was confused, I was like, what does core mean? I looked at the picture and I was able to see the label. And so boys and girls text features like labels really help us understand the information better, because it labeled that this is the core of the sun. It looks like an orange, a peeled orange to me.
Yeah.
Energy builds up. It can burst out. This is a solar flare. So we're going to stop and jot, and I want you to add a sound effect to what you think the sound would be when energy builds up and it's bursting out into a solar flare. So go ahead and take some time to jot in your journal what sound effect you would add if energy builds up in the sun and it bursts out. And we use sound effect. A lot of writers like to use sound effect by writing the word slanted in their text, or you can even use quotation marks to tell me that this is a sound effect. So teachers, when you're ready, you can give me a thumbs up. Ms. Rosales?
So I put 3. Glob. And right here I put plup. And I did plup.
I love that you added it to your drawing, because I know exactly where the moment the energy is building up and bursting out. Awesome. Ms. Akimowicz?
I kind of don't know how to spell it, but I think it would sound like shooting out, like a volcano.
Yeah, I like that. That was actually what I was thinking too. And I was like, how do I spell that?
Yeah, I don't know how to spell that.
Maybe with T's and B's, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I want you at home right now on your screens, and I'm going to have the teachers do the same thing. You choose one of our sound effects and just say it out loud right now, as if the sun is showing us a solar flare. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Nice. I'm sure we're so ready to make a sound effects sun movie next. How do we know? We use special telescopes. We see the sun up close. Love that it's loading. The anticipation is exciting to see what we're going to learn next in our text. Wonder what's going to show up next.
Maybe going back a page?
Yeah.
I bet it's more about the sun.
I think you're right, Ms. Rosales. I wonder how you knew.
Perhaps the title gave it away.
Thank goodness my internet is better now. So let's keep reading the text. We can send probes to the sun. They will get close. They will get data. They will send it back to Earth. We can study it. We can learn. So I'm going to have you stop and think and jot. Most nonfiction texts make me have lots of wonderings, and I'm sure you must have questions that you're wondering too after reading this page. For me, one of my wonderings was, how does the probe not melt so close to the sun, right? Because I was thinking, if it's going to go to the sun, how does it get close if it's so hot, how does it survive? So I want to have you stop and think of some wonderings you might have and jot them down. So you might say, I am wondering blank.
About anything on the page?
Mm-hmm. And one way I like to come up with wonderings is I like to reread my sentences to see what other information I would want to know after reading that sentence. Ms. Yakimowicz, do you want to share with us first?
Yes, I wrote, I'm wondering what kind of data the probe gathers.
And I can tell you got that from this sentence right here. They will get data. Awesome.
And I know data is information. I'm just wondering what kind of information.
I love that clarification. Awesome. Ms. Rosales, do you have a question or wondering?
I had two, but I said, I am wondering why the probe isn't melting is the first one. And the second is, I am wondering how we will receive that information.
That is a good question because it's so far away, right? I love that the cool thing about our internet and our world today is that you can actually look all this information up. So boys and girls at home, when you're done reading this text, you can always Google search and write those wonderings and see what you come up with. Yes, Ms. Rosales?
Sorry, I'm going to take this opportunity to point out that we were focusing on the long E spelled Y, and I found one. Ms. Yakimowicz, what I'm looking at?
Study.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Awesome. I love all the connections in all our different lessons. Yay. And we're at the last page. Wow. Why do you like the sun? And so you can explain, talk to your friends at home, family at home, and share what you like about the sun. But I hope that during this read aloud, you were able to understand that there's so many different things we can do while we read, and it makes reading more fun, and we understand the text so much better. So I'm looking forward to see what new wonderings that you get answered today as you explore what the sun is. Thanks for joining us today. Bye.
Bye.